But now we have Dark Marsh by, how do I pronounce this?
Vixuzen.
Vixuzen.
That's the one with the Sonic Rush music.
Sonic Rush
Adventure music.
And the
Yeah.
Rayman 2 textures.
I have to say, props for making, like, I guess this would be a pirate themed level, because a lot of people don't do that. Like, it's like a really uncommon theme in pretty much anything.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately.
But I always love pirate themed levels and stuff like that.
I think they did a really good job at making neat geometry. Like, nothing looks sloppy here. It's just too cramped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
I
kind of
feel
not
like-
a great sense of scale here.
The scale here reminds me of Banjo-Kazooie, honestly.
Like, SRB2 characters are flinging themselves wildly around the stage, so you need to account for mistakes like that.
Yeah.
One
I
personal critique I do have is like, I mean, I'm not really showing it here. I mean, I could show it. I guess I'll show it. Like this vortex is just an insta kill, but it'd be more
Yeah.
obvious if it was like a hazard in general. If it had like if it was an FOF with the ripple effect, because that way it will give it a liquidy look.
Mm-hmm.
So that will communicate to the player that hey, this is a pretty toxic substance. You may want to avoid this. But it just looked. I mean, when I first played this, I thought it was just grass, and I just ended up dying.
One other thing that I think could help this map's visuals quite a bit, I guess the death pit you could call it, or the water, you could have it just be a sky texture and then align the skybox so that the skybox water is the death pit.
Why did I do that?
Kind of like what Arid Canyon does, where touching the skybox's like surface kills you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just
Yeah.
gotta point out an absolute Chad move by the creator, making his sky texture the main like rock texture he uses also.
Wait, really?
Oh really?
Am I not noticing?
Oh, wow, you're right.
Oh.
That's just funny. That's like
I'm-
some Mario 1 clouds
never
or
noticed
trees thing.
Yeah, it
Or
is.
clouds or bushes.
I thought it was just like some really like dirty like eclipse with like lots of like overcast clouds.
That's awesome.
It's hard to notice because you have to look like really up in a
Yeah,
game
no,
where you upload
I
the
wouldn't have noticed that if I wasn't directly told about that.
Wait, oh really? What's
Yeah.
above?
It's the same texture as the wall texture, the sky.
Oh yeah. That no, that was the thing I was pointing out. You were saying something about like an eclipse. I like, huh?
Oh god damn it.
I was like, where? But yeah, I know
Yeah,
about
these indoor areas are all just kind of, I don't know, like they're just way too small.
I know.
You can't really get a running start anywhere
I
unless you're really
had-
precise.
I had a similar issue with Gate Garden, where they both feel like they're built for a slower character.
And also, like, having cramped areas like this also messes with the camera quite a bit. It just kind of, I don't know. It's the game doesn't have the best camera like SRB2, so you just need to at least like sort of design around it by creating bigger areas that don't have walls all the time.
I mean, it's just nice to give the player a bit of breathing room as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because yeah, when a level's cramped, it's just much harder to build up speed, and obviously, it just limits traversal options, I guess.
I think it's funny. I could go over this whole stage with the Knuckles just from a few enemy bounce glides.
Alright, so I'm currently looking at a really confusing spot right now where I'm looking at a bunch of enemies that are facing backwards, but there's also springs leading upwards, so I have no idea which way the game's telling me to go.
Oh, they're facing the other way because I was here already and they turned around to
Yeah.
shoot me.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Co-op problems, you know.
Yeah. Alright, I'm glad that was not the mapper's fault, because that confused the hell out of me.
Oh wait, is this not solid?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I
thank
know
you
for
for
a
that.
fact, because I've played this stage a few times, that they do go the correct direction normally.
But yeah, it's a cool level. I like the open areas with the various platforming on these like wooden boxes.
Yeah,
It might help to kind of, I don't know, like the platforming on those areas feels a little samey because like the map follows this formula where you go from a hallway to an open area, and they all kind of look the same.
Okay, so when I'm with a vanilla character, I can open the ChrispyChars menu and it won't let me close it. So I have to I have to exit and then rejoin every time I accidentally click that button.
Bro.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Maybe it's worth unbinding it just for this then, just to be on the safe side.
That's in like I've been kind of quiet like for this level. Just some thoughts real quick. I do like it. I like the structure and the geometry. I think it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of another game I played, Rayman 3.
Ooh, yeah.
It has a nostalgic feel.
Yeah.
It literally uses Rayman 2 textures.
Bro, you know, that's why.
I thought I recognized the art style with these textures.
Yeah, I love the the structures and everything, like the section that Krabs is like flying through right now. But,
I really like the overall. I really like the overall aesthetic.
Yeah, I just feel like it could be a lot more open and just a lot more friendly
it's-
to Sonic.
Because yeah, just talking aesthetics, like it's a really nice combination. Like it feels bleak, but there's still lots of color, and it's still pleasant to look at.
Yeah, and I don't think we ever seen like a swamp type level like anyway in SRB2. Not to this extent, at least.
Mudhole Karst.
I do remember there being some
Mudhole,
like old match stages that had similar aesthetics to this, but obviously not this full
Oh, I'm
blown
lost.
Pyro-esque.
Oh, you're going the right way, Krabs.
And while I usually when I see something that's like platforms going down, like a lot of mappers, they feel really obligated to make sure you're allowed to backtrack, and I don't really think it's that important. I think it's way more important that you're not allowed to backtrack easily, because it gives you too much ability to get lost.
I agree.
I'm not against the idea of backtracking, but I think like you should try. You can communicate with rings or just general like stage objects, but just communicate which is the correct way to be going.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
just
true.
to put it into perspective, a lot of areas in Sonic 2 and 3 you can't backtrack out of. And those
Which
are
is
good.
totally fine. In fact, Mania almost does it too much, where like there's a lot of sections that are just like kind of railroading you down a certain path, but you'll never get lost in those sections. Like you kind of get
Yeah, I can tell you're a little lost.
accidentally towards the end. I am lost right now. I have no idea if I'm going the right way. Because these statues are facing backwards.
Oh,
Go in that
but the
little.
springs are facing forwards.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the correct
Wait,
way,
is it?
Krabs.
Okay.
wait, I think it's down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you just went directly over me.
Nice save.
As I was hanging on a wall F12ing you.
Huh. But yeah, like, you know, once again, like, you just need to make sure that if someone like me is going backwards, you have to make sure that I see certain things that
That's unfortunate.
cue me in that I'm going backwards.
Yeah, something about this stage that he's at least consistent with, so I'm okay with that, but I still have a bit of an issue with it. The upward stairs are always like power-ups, and then the
that's
downward
bad.
stairs are the correct path.
So
Yeah.
when I was playing with Tails, I was kind of in this last room, and I was flying up, and I noticed the yellow bar with the rings on it, and I went up here thinking that's the path. And then I just went this way, and that's how I got turned around.
Ah, okay.
Put on the Sonic goggles! Put on the Sonic goggles!
I'm playing Tails because my ping is really bad. I know it's like 85,
You know,
but it still feels really bad.
Well, I regret it before. I had to switch a couple of times because it got really
Funny
unbearable.
Tails moment.
Any other thoughts for this
Yeah.
level? Or
I'm about to complete it, so that'll probably be
Yeah,
one player remaining.
it's really appreciated having a fully custom texture set, and just like sticking to this theme
Yeah,
that
custom
is
texture
hard
can
to
take
do.
time, so that's definitely like a great effort, honestly.
I mean, pretty much
Importing
like
it from somewhere else, it still takes time.
Yeah. No, I can confirm that. Like back when I didn't know how to make my own textures, I used to do that, and it does still take time.
yeah, it does.
Especially when the power converter doesn't like do a very good job. You have to kind of like manually tweak it yourself.
Something that I also think is impressive about it is that the creator did it without any community help at all. His OLDC review was his first post on the MB.
really?
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's pretty funny. Although they might have.
does it have a Discord?
As far as I know, no. I tried searching their name and didn't find it, so they just kind of learned it.
Huh. Well, at least in the future we'll have people's discords, so we'll know if they're like lurking around in the OS or something.